It's just very portable. It's the cleanest technology ever put in place. When you think about it, it's one of the weirdest abilities human beings exhibit. And when you go forward to reading, you realize this is an animal in some kind of an informational tizzy. I mean, the idea that you would make marks in clay which signify tongue noises, which signify designated objects, so that these pieces of clay can be lugged hundreds of miles, so that other people can reconstruct your thought by looking at these pieces of clay. This is bizarre. For animal behavior, this is absolutely, it's just how they manage to do that. And of course, the picture writing we understand, but similar to the breakthrough to speech is the breakthrough to a phonetic alphabet, where you see, we don't have to portray the thing we intend. All we have to portray is the sound of the word that signifies the thing we intend. And then, you're just roaring forward, and from there to the printing press, what is it, a couple of thousand years or something, and then there's no going back. So that's the part about language. Now, what was the second part after that?
Consciousness.
Well, if you think of the universe as an engine which it produces and conserves novelty, and you think of it as a fractal thing, a fractal hierarchy built up and built downward of subsets of itself, then in a sense every creative act is the paradigmatic act of the Big Bang. I mean, it always struck me, that the end of the novelty wave, which is up, down, oscillate, zero, it's like, it's a general map of all process. We could be describing the life of the energy output of a star, or the firing of a single neuron, or the birth and death of an economy. In a sense, you get down to a fractal level where you can say all processes are the same. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And if you know where you are in this concatenation of process, you can sort of locate yourself in the cosmic domain. The thing that I tried to talk about this morning that we need to map into our maps of reality is the acceleration. I think it's a really weird idea to talk about 1,000 years in the future. I mean, good grief. 1,000 years in the future? What do you imagine will be left standing that you call home? Cast your mind back 1,000 years. King Canute was taking charge of things across northern Northumbria, and the Anglo-Saxons were making forays along the coast of Norway, and very few of the concerns of the day have survived to this moment, and that was the slow-moving part of the process. We're going to move in the next 10 years further than we've moved since the time of King Canute to this morning. So it seems to me the most unlikely future scenario is one which assumes things will stay more or less the same, because we've put in place all these processes designed to make sure that does not happen. Rapacious capitalism, technological innovation, bourgeois social aspirations in the hearts of every man, woman, and child on the planet, urbanization, connectivity. All of these processes are designed to erase reality as we know it. Yeah. Well, certainly the West has built its house on a narrow foundation, denying these other possibilities. On the other hand, you get into all kinds of difficulties here. How do you judge whether or not a civilization has assimilated or explored the domain means it's named its own. One way is by looking at the technological applications that it's created. And for all this talking about these other states of mind, they seem actually as mysterious to the East as they are to the West. I don't get the feeling they're really navigating through what they're talking about. In the past, there may have been levels of understanding. It may be, that psychology, though it's a mystery to us, it may be that it's an easier nut to crack than the nut of matter. And so I don't have any trouble believing that Vedic India of 3500 BC may have known all kinds of things about how the mind works and how to navigate through these imaginal spaces that we've lost. But the spirituality of modern India is thoroughly contaminated by 1,000 years of commerce with Islam and the West. It isn't that different, really. I mean, Vedic theology and German idealism are strikingly similar cousins. Yeah. Well, definitely what you're getting at is that technology itself is a kind of psychedelic drug. That, by chance or design, the proponents of psychedelica have figured out that it's totally acceptable to this culture if you disguise it as electronic entertainment and put it out that way. So the web is incredibly subversive. Simply the fact that all that information is there and available in a world where control of access to information has always been the game. So, yeah, the way I see it is that the psychedelic people need to use the new information technologies to build art of a type more powerful and more compelling than the world has ever seen. Call it virtual reality, call it multimedia, whatever you want, but it's basically walk around art, and then the boundaries will fall for ordinary people, because you see, when you build a virtual reality, in a sense, what that technology is allowing you to do is it's allowing you to show people the inside of your own head. We have never had a technology that would do that. We think the inside of our heads are all the same. But, when I say to you that when I smoke DMT, it unleashes a Niagara of alien beauty, if I had spent the last 30 years building that Niagara of alien beauty so that you could just strap on the goggles and go, then we would have a very different kind of dialogue and relationship going. And so I really see art as the great searchlight that illuminates the historical landscape just ahead. And I think that art is about to get teeth for the first time in human history. I mean, it's all very fine scratching on cave walls and film and video and all that, but it's always artifice. You never are convinced, or only for seconds, that you're in the presence of reality when you're in the presence of art. But we will build art that will literally stand your hair on end. And the amount of creativity in a single human mind is, as I said, more than fills all the museums of this planet. So what we need is to figure out how to get a spigot into that and get this stuff out. And then, as James Joyce said, man will be dirigible. Well, we said, I think, that when you take psychedelics, you go up a dimension. And so this world of transience and flux becomes an eternal world. So in that sense, it's the same thing. Whether meditation and psychedelics are the same thing, I think depends on your meditation and your psychedelics. Different meditations strive for different things.